What if MrBeast made the biggest game show in history?
Picture like Squid Game, but like 10x. Like, that's what I would do.
Jimmy is known for creating some of the most high-scale productions on the platform. His Squid Game video cost $3.5 million to make, something no other channel can pull off at his scale. From giving away a private island to hosting Beast Olympics, every video gets crazier and crazier. So what better way to innovate than to make a game show that's 10 times the scale of his most viewed video? Well, that means he needs to shore up $35 million at the very least. And even though he's a rich guy, he only spends up to $4 million a video. So $35 million, that's just crazy. So in order to make this a reality, we have to think outside the box. And in this case, the box turns out to be YouTube itself. That's right, we're going to another platform instead. Netflix, the home of the actual Squid Game. So if MrBeast can join the ranks of these giants, he might get the funding for his ambitious project. And guess what? He is already talking to them right now. We know that he wants to do a 10-episode Netflix series with possibly up to 10,000 contestants. We don't know what the prize will be at exactly, but he said he wants to make it the biggest cash prize in game show history, let's say $10 million. Well, he can invest all of this money and pay the winner out over time, which is exactly what lotteries do. This is a simple way to double the reward to $20 million, making the show that much more insane. Now it's time to make a detailed blueprint of the entire series. He said he wants the first episode to take place in a stadium, and who knows what kinds of games he can do with 10,000 people. My prediction is that he will draw a big red circle around the stadium and have the last 5,000 people who remain get to move on. Dozens, if not hundreds of people will probably get out in the first couple of minutes for various reasons. But he'll also have smaller challenges such as voting, finding coconuts, and of course, pairing people up with their friend to have them fight it out. A simple way to add serious suspense in the show. And remember, there's 10 episodes to fill. Location-wise, we can expect him to not only rent out an entire stadium, but possibly also a mall, amusement park, and even a private island. He's done all of these things in the past, and with a $35 million budget, anything is fair game. In fact, he said he wants to elevate things even more on a streaming platform, so we're looking at possibly $40 or $50 million. On top of that, he can build sets and add CGI to take things to the next level. This glass bridge scene in Squid Game was almost all CGI, so with all the tools at his disposal, there's a lot of room for creativity. I'm also sure he will try to incorporate his snack brand Feastables somewhere in the series. I mean, it's just good marketing. Think of his chocolate factory video, which I'm sure could be recreated as an episode of its own. This plug alone could very well make him millions of extra dollars. Because he has done so many challenges like these in the past, he will have a lot of inspiration to work with. After having all the ideas down, it's time to figure out the logistics. First, he needs to rent out locations and build the sets. Jimmy will likely spend most of his budget here in order to ensure the visuals are absolutely mind-blowing. There's so many things he needs to keep in mind, from the lighting to every little prop. In his videos, you can tell that his team really tries to pay attention to the smallest details. After building the sets, he needs to go find 10,000 people. Squid Game had only 456, so over 20 times that number is certainly gonna be a lot to handle. From screening them to making sure they have a place to stay, this will be a very tricky and expensive process. He's going to have to hire some of the brightest minds out there to make the best game show the world has ever seen. After many months of preparation, Jimmy and his team will be fired up to finally begin the shoot. There is so much that he will have prepared, and hosting all the juicy challenges he has lined up will be very interesting to say the least. It's the long-awaited day of filming. Jimmy arrives at the stadium early to make sure everything is ready to go. Now, all there is to do is wait for the contestants to fill up the seats. Moments later, he goes up to the center of the field and takes the microphone to begin the biggest game show ever. He will probably be nervous standing in front of 10,000 people, and he knows that anything can go wrong. He records the intro and tells everyone to go find a coconut to not be eliminated. With so much money on the line, people are going to go all out in fighting each other. People are going to get trampled, beat up, and whatever the case may be. Aside from this hypothetical scenario, there is an endless list of disasters that could happen, including set malfunctions, which is exactly what happened in his Squid Game video. Meet contestant number 61. In red light, green light, he revealed that everyone had phones attached to their arms to detect movement, which would send a signal to the explosive devices attached to their chests. But with 456 people on the same Wi-Fi network, you can imagine how this idea fell apart. So this entire shoot had to be delayed while Jimmy figured out a solution. To make matters worse, everyone was already on set standing for 9 hours. In true MrBeast fashion, he decided to give everyone $1,000. Being nice cost them 456 grand, but with 20 times more people, there's absolutely no way he can afford that. And I'm not sure if Netflix would agree to pay that much either. Not only will mistakes be costly, his untarnished reputation could be on the line. If anything chaotic occurs, news is gonna spread like wildfire, and it will look really bad on Jimmy's part. Nobody has ever done such a massive competition, so there are plenty of opportunities for things to burn to the ground. But by hiring hundreds of talented people, ensuring that every possible scenario is accounted for, maybe MrBeast will be able to avoid major issues. 2 weeks of filming later, with a couple minor of hiccups, 10,000 players are whittled down to the final 10. Here in the final episode, we can expect to see Jimmy's most impressive production ever. Picture the craziest sets you can imagine beyond anything he has ever put out on his channel. The characters themselves will face an immense amount of pressure and tensions will be extremely high. This is gonna be by far the most nail-biting episode, and although we don't yet know what this will look like, I'm pretty sure that he will save his absolute best effort for last, ensuring a crazy finale to the craziest challenge ever. Thousands of shattered dreams later, the final round concludes and a winner is chosen, who will receive a ginormous cash prize. This person will be basically set for life and won't need to work another day ever again. And while the winner is busy splurging, MrBeast and his crew are gonna be hard at work trying to edit thousands of hours worth of footage. Because of the sheer enormity of the show, each episode will be pretty long at around an hour, which was confirmed by Jimmy. Everything can breathe a whole lot more because he doesn't need to optimize retention for the YouTube algorithm. But with so much footage, it's also going to take a seriously long time to edit. I mean, his YouTube videos usually take 7 rounds of editing, so imagine doing that for 10 1-hour-long episodes. You can start to see how this process will take many months. But putting such an emphasis on quality is what makes MrBeast the #1 YouTuber. Almost 2 years after conception, Jimmy's team finalizes the 10 episodes that will be launched on Netflix. He will hype up the announcement a few weeks before, and once the release date arrives, millions of hardcore fans are going to be refreshing their screens waiting for the series to drop. Within minutes, his name will be #1 on trending everywhere. Within days, everyone not living under a rock will have heard of his insane game show. I mean, why would you not watch 10,000 players fight for a life-changing $20 million? There's no doubt it will go absolutely crazy on Netflix, and this is a great opportunity for a generally older audience to be exposed to Jimmy's content, making him a household name if he isn't one already. Squid Game apparently made $900 million, so even a fraction of this success means that both Netflix and MrBeast can make tens or even hundreds of millions of dollars. With all this money, he can invest it all back into his YouTube videos, and who knows, maybe he'll go for season 2 of the largest game show in the history of the world.